Hello, everyone. It's Nikki Batgirl D'Angelo along with Ben Lesnick for another Bensday with Batgirl and Ben. It looked like I forgot that, didn't it, Ben?
I thought you were cueing me, and I wasn't.
No, we didn't work that one out. Maybe we'll do that another day. So, folks, I'm gonna first I want to thank those of you that are patrons, and there's gonna be a change coming to my patron program because right now I made a mistake when I set up my patron account and I was charging by the video, so I only put out one week. I put out so many videos, I only charge for one a week. But I'm going to change it so people that just want to pay on a monthly basis and maybe throw $1 in a month can do that. So look for that change to be coming soon. And for those of you that are already patrons, I'm going to put up a video and a poll to see if you like the idea before I put it live. All right. And secondly, there is a potential for there being no Bensday next week because it is Memorial Day. You're going to be there, though, right? For the rest of the week?
Oh yeah, I'll be around. I'm sure I'll be here on Memorial Day too.
Oh, and because there's an extreme possibility that Wednesday or Thursday I might have to go back for surgery. And if that is the case, I will make sure that it is on my Twitter and that there's a mini video in this channel to tell you that we're going to put off Bensday for 1 week.
Look, if that happens, let me know.
I will let you know, or I'll send you the questions so you could shoot a Bensday with you and Allie. So I want to talk a little bit about 2.4. First off, I do want to admit to my fellow enablers, I was wrong for going on a rant on Sunday night about how horrible things were because they were not horrible. I was just in a bad place at the time.
Well, some things are horrible.
Yeah. We know some things are not right, but horrible is not where they are. I am not somebody with the initials DS, okay? I was getting upset with the item port system because trying to line up those tiny little dots was hard. Once I learned how to do it, I was able to line it up every time within a half a second. So it just took a little bit getting used to. And I was hoping a little bit more from my mobiGlass. So the first question is Nikki Batgirl D'Angelo's question. And I think I'm going to throw me a Idris. Ben, could you make sure I get an Idris tomorrow for this question?
I cannot.
No, I don't get to win ships, folks. Only you do. But my question about mobiGlass is that it seems kind of good, but it also doesn't seem up to par with the rest of Chris's vision for the game. Are we going to see like some kind of massive overhaul in the fidelity of mobiGlass?
Absolutely, you're going to see plenty of changes to mobiGlass down the road. The current implementation, there's a lot of cool stuff in there for sure, but it's also kind of doing double duty. We're at a point where we're working on a million different interfaces, and right now, as we're in this alpha stage, we're like, okay, Holotable isn't working, so it's going to be mobiGlass for a little while. We have this system right now. We can bring in things for shopping and for all these interface things we need for 2.4 that will change down the line. So you're watching it evolve, but definitely not final at all.
So your vision, Chris's vision for mobiGlass is something that's more of VR, right? More virtual reality than it is this thing sitting in front of us that looks like we're staring at a computer screen, right?
Yeah, I believe that's correct.
Okay, good. So that will change. So I'm going to jump right into somebody's question, Ben, and I did not send this one to you, and it has a photo.
All right.
Okay, can you clarify the slogan? If it sits, it fits, or if it is or is not, still is a valid statement for the Idris or Endeavor hangars. If it sits, it fits seems a bit simplistic. There will be a need to have room above and below the ship to land, not just a ship's head clearance. This is a long question, Ben, I'm sorry. And it makes sense when it's landed. Ships that have folded wings and collapsible turrets would need their ammunitions to be complete prior to their landing sequence beginning. When looking at the Idris tour, it looks like only 3 ships can be parked in the hangar at any time. Is this changing?
So I think there's a couple different things there. Yes, it is more. It is more simplistic than. It is less simplistic than as many ships as you can cram in there. You definitely need the room to actually maneuver them and take off, and you need the for munitions and repair stuff and all the stuff that makes the ship work. What it is indicating, though, is it's not I'm all over the place today. It's not a case of, okay, there's 3 fighter slots and that's it. It's more of, if there is room for more, there's room for more.
Okay. So it's not like you could cram these ships in. You still have to have room for operations, and Ben's agreeing with that. Okay?
Yeah.
So just because the hangar could fit 20, and this is hypothetical, 20 M50s doesn't mean the 20 M50s would be able to be fit in there. You might be fitting more like 10 because you need room between them and you need room for the people to service them.
But, I think in the long term, the goal is more, just because you can doesn't mean you should. If you want to cram your ships in there to the point that it prevents them from working right, let's give you that amount of rope. I'm sure we will see ships crammed with snub fighters that don't actually work, or
right.
And it should never be so linear as I can put 3 in here and that's it. There should be some sort of trade-off. Okay, I can cram 4 of these in here, but I don't have missiles, or I can attach these to these external docking ports, but it's a pain in the butt to redock my ship after the battle. So it should be a series of trade-offs rather than simply.
Yeah, so essentially we don't want it to look like Jimmy Doolittle's Squadron of Hornets on the Squadron of Hornets, B-25 Mitchells on the USS Hornet back in World War II. That would be crazy, right? If we just packed them on like that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying, right?
And that's a good example, because we want players to be able to come up with a scenario where, hey, maybe they did figure out a way to sacrifice X, Y, and Z and get this larger bomber in somewhere, and so we want people to be able to come up with that. So.
Yeah, let's remember that those Mitchells on the USS Hornet had no weaponry to fight back at any interceptors that might be going after them. Not always a great idea.
And there was no place for them to land, so they couldn't come back.
Yeah, that's right. That question came to us from Aaron Meisman. That's going to matter because I'm going to start taking the names of people that put that ask questions, and I'm going to start throwing you guys some different stuff that I have accumulated over the last 3 years. All right, so the next one is going to come from Xenomancer, and Xenomancer is asking us a couple of questions. Okay, with the Starfarer out and more details coming out about these large ships, we've seen positions like helmsman, gunner, engineer, cargo manager, which you really should be cargo master if you're in the U.S. Air Force, and so forth, outlined with tantalizing detail about their responsibilities and activities, but the role of the captain is currently unclear. How is the role of a captain unclear, Ben? We know what the captain does, right? Or is there... Okay, so can you comment on the captain position in the ship, their role and interface, or is their job purely to have a fancy room and sit ponderously on the captain's chair? Does he know what a captain does?
No, in our ships, the captain is, top of the... He is the guy who controls what everyone else is able to do. If the captain wants to be the guy who flies the ship and mans the guns and does the navigating instead of those positions, he's the guy who can make that call. Because there's a massive ownership. You need to have someone who is the captain so you can determine who is in command of the ship and changes of command and all that. Somebody you can kick out when you take over the ship, that sort of thing.
Yeah. So the captain, if you watch Star Trek from the 1960s, right, is the guy that comes up with those great one-liners that tells everybody else what to do and has that master strategy in his brain that comes out just when you need it.
Yes, he's the only person on the ship with a 350-person crew who ever goes down to the surface and has all the adventures himself.
And he's also the guy that initiates the self-destruct sequence, right? Mm-hmm. So, come on. Captain, in all vessels, the captain generally is the master strategist. So that's what you would expect. But I think what they're looking for is what's the captain's interface going to be? And that's going to be his Mark I eyeballs, right?
And I should stress also, you are the captain. That's the
Yeah.
answer to the question broadly,
Yeah.
and you're going to make it whatever you want.
Yeah. I mean, you don't have to be Nick Fury with a million screens in front of you, right?
How do you I can never use more than two, and I have three here. So.
I mean, does he turn to look at them or what? Sorry, Tony was right with that one. All right, follow up in the same vein.
It's funny, I also have one eye, and I do have to turn to look at this one.
And Tony Stark was just so contemptuous about that. He was like, you figure you would have made it better so you didn't have to turn, right? Follow up with the same vein. If the Carrack sends its Pisces through a wormhole into a previously unexplored system, does the captain of the Carrack get the naming rights, or the pilot of the Pisces, assuming that it's not the same person? Well, the Pisces I thought was a remote craft, first off, but I'm not sure. In other words, who gets to name this system? The person that's flying the Pisces through the wormhole, or the captain of the ship?
So, first thing I would say is it's not, the Pisces is not going to be a thing that goes ahead. I can't tell you. We just had a meeting where we figured out the Pisces, and it's something else that's very cool, but it's not going to be that. But that's a good question. I don't think we really thought about it. My guess is it would be the owner of the ship, but the ship's master. Yeah.
It depends on your relationship with your crew. Is your crew mutinous, or are they going to listen to every single order you give, right? Xenomancer, they were two great questions. I'm sorry if I tore you up for them, but they were two great questions.
In fact, I think that it might even be an answer to the previous question. That is why it's important to have a captain. So there's an ownership.
Okay. There is. And well, I mean, I figure inside of an organization, you would have that structure, that organization tree, right? Mm-hmm. So you would know who's in charge, and you would have people that are going to work with you and work alongside you. Remember, a captain doesn't necessarily have people that work for them. He has people that work alongside them, but listen to him. Colin Pickup asked this one. Ben talked about some modules being quick things that can be done in a garage, hangar versus ones that need to be done at a facility. And we kind of touched on this last week. Is this the ease of configuration that we can expect from modules sold thus far? In other words, like the Avenger, the Vanguard, the Endeavor, Caterpillar, Retaliator. Now, they have different spacecraft in there. I wouldn't expect that from the Endeavor, but I would expect that from the Vanguard and the Avenger. Can you elaborate on that?
No, that's about right. I mean, the modules we have for the Retaliator and the Avenger, I think they'll swap right out in your hangar. To reconfigure an Endeavor, it probably is more of you have to dock with a particular place where the pods are being stored, and you have an external thing attached to them. So it's probably size-based is a pretty good way to think of it right now. I think the one that's definitely a yard upgrade that we have right now that we've sold is the Javelin, because that has just huge chunks of the ship get taken off and that sort of thing.
Yeah. What about the Caterpillar? That seems to be a very modular craft. Would that be done in a hangar, or would that be done at a facility?
So they're doing the Caterpillar right now. I will hold off commenting on what it can do until it comes out, because they've told me so much cool stuff. I would hate to promise anything right now and then have it to be, you can't do that. But
so my question about the Caterpillar and that beautiful new Drake ship that you are about ready to put on sale, that gorgeous ship. So if you're flying these, obviously single-seater, no bathroom, no food, no nothing, as an escort, right? So you've got your Buccaneer, which I've been asking for the Buccaneer for a long time, and it's gorgeous. And you're flying it on a long-range mission. Are you going to be able to dock with the Caterpillar so you could at least use the facilities, or do you have to use that little tube?
Well, you should be wearing like space pants. And
space pants.
Astronauts are not self-conscious about that sort of thing.
It's called a catheter.
As for docking with the Caterpillar, I refer to the previous question where there are some very, very cool things they have in store for the Caterpillar. I just want to make sure we can do them.
So there's some foreshadowing here, folks. So there may be a mini hangar on the Caterpillar, or they may not be. Ben's just not going to tell us if I'm right or wrong.
I will say that Matt Sherman has been doing a whole lot of fantastic work figuring out how the Drake lineup all works together. The Herald, the Caterpillar, the Cutlass, the Buccaneer, and the new one. What is it? The Dragonfly.
Yeah. But, we're talking about a virtual game. Does anyone really have to stop and go to the bathroom? They're pixels.
But that's what makes it cool, is people want to. They see that there's enough detail in the world. Like, hey, I'm concerned. There's no space toilet in this.
I might want to stop just because that Vanguard arcade machine is sitting on the Caterpillar, so I want to play that for a little bit, right? We're going to be able to put those games in our hangars someday, right?
We should be able to once we have the persistence and grabby hands, ability to maneuver stuff around.
Good. All right, so quantum travel. This is from Dave Shoot. It's Schuette. So I'm going to say Dave Shoot. Quantum travel. Will we ever see more impressive fire energy effects coming out of our giant engines when we blast off at ludicrous speed? Right now, we get the cool wrap, stretched hyperspace effects, but nothing to make it feel like our great big main thrusters are actually doing any work. It makes me feel sad. This sounds like a Marcus question. I'm sorry.
It does. TBD, I guess I would say on that one. I want to say yes, because we always do that in Wing Commander, but I also think it's possible that the lore guys have come up with some way that quantum drive works that it's not the main thruster, so I will defer.
Okay. I know that Notable Joe who sent us some stuff, so let's see if Notable Joe has anything here this week. No, my email is coming up blank. I have a couple more picked, but I just remembered that Joe Huddleston, who's Notable Joe and is always on... Oh, wait, here it is, question for Ben. So we're going to ask Joe Huddleston's question, which came through on May 18th. Okay, Star Citizen seems to attract more than its fair share of scrutiny and hate. Does this place any undue pressure on the team to deliver, or are people content to quietly build the masterpiece we all know this is going to be? Whenever there is a buildup of stress around the office, what are some popular ways to release it? So, can I elaborate on this? Because
Sure.
All right, so I'm great. I'm good friends with you, Ben, right? I'm good friends with Sandy, and even though we don't talk a lot, we can talk anytime, right?
Oh yeah.
So I know that
all the time.
Yeah, and I know that you guys have a lot of stress, especially when things start getting thrown at you, right?
Yes and no. I mean, certainly it's a high stress environment. There's a lot of work to do that we really believe in very strongly. As for criticism, I would say we are our own harshest critics.
Yeah. And I was there when some of the team, which most of them aren't part of the team anymore. I'm sorry, but, Chelsea and, there's a few people that have left, but I saw one of the ways that you guys have relieved stress. What's the biggest stress relief that you guys take part in the office?
I don't know.
Do you have Nerf guns, water balloons?
We have a lot of Nerf guns. Yeah, we screw around in our downtime. We'll do stuff like race miniature cars or invent ball games with random stuff we find out. And Hennessy is very good at. We had these tubes that we were hitting baseballs with earlier. I don't know. It's like any fun, creative group environment. As for how anybody deals with stress, I mean, it's like Star Trek 2, each according to their own gifts. I will say that Cloud Imperium Games today is a whole lot less stressful than it was 3 years ago. The company has just changed so much.
It's gotten big.
It's crazy. Just thinking about health insurance, 401k. It's like a real company with human reasons. It is a real company now. It's been very strange to see growing up, and I would say most of those changes are, almost all the changes are for the better. It's a machine now.
Okay.
But it's with heart, I think so.
Well, I will say that I have not been there for over 14 months.
Oh, you got to come out and see the new office. they did a really good job with it, making it this like creative environment. It's a lot of fun just coming to work.
I'm coming in early, if that's okay, in October, so I can, but we will see, just in case. I don't want you to give me preferential treatment when you're going to have all these Star Citizen fans there. You know what I mean?
I'd love to show you around.
Yeah. So, and I'm going to just jump over what I was going to say because when I got Ben on his way, I know that he had less time today. So this is from Cosmic Trader, one of our frequent suppliers of questions. Will the Starfarer Gemini have a unique interior? Right now it's kind of the same as the Starfarer. If so, how will it differ? Thanks.
I mean, I know they want to do more on it, but I don't know what the timeline is like. Largely, though, most ships will have more customizable interiors down the line, so it's not so much of a pressing issue right now for us. You know, we have it out there in space, and we've got it performing to its. Well, I don't know if we have it performing to its specs yet, but we are working on that. You know, customization of the interiors can come a little bit later.
Okay. And second question was about the Vanguard. It's supposed to have a distinctive array to help it when fighting in and around obstacles such as asteroid fields or nebulas. How do you see that fleshing out? Like, what do you...
Yeah, they're working on some sensor stuff for that right now. In fact, we were just going back to looking at which ships are tagged to have which special sensors and figuring out what those were. I see it as... The easiest one to do is more range, so you see your hostiles and your threats and so on at a further range. But I am sure that design will come up with probably something more interesting than that.
So the follow-up question is that I do have a couple of distinctive ships, right? So when I have the Aurora LX and I have the 315P and I have the Mustang Beta, they're all classified as exploration ships. So right now, they're no different than any other fighter, but in the future, they will have much different systems on them to help them with those roles. So I think that's what I was asking about.
Stuff like scanning for jump points or planetary data or minerals and asteroids and places. So, all sorts of specialized scanners for the role ships. Okay,
and this will be the last question so we can get you on your way. This is from Azrael15. When female, remember I told you there's always a question about female character models, and this time it's not when, I hope. Please make it not when. When female character models are added, can we expect to see other ethnicity models to choose from also? I know many constantly ask, when are the female models coming out? But I never hear, what about other ethnicities?
Yeah, they'll have full customization for all of that.
Yeah.
I do kind of like that it's all the bald man right now. It reminds me of read the Forever War. Eventually, mankind evolves into this one being that's known as man. Man, we should have put that in our lore early on. That would have saved us so much time.
So the character I just saw in 2.4 is the most awkward body type character I've seen. He's like, if he had a pot belly, he'd have the dad bod.
Oh, yeah, they went to one of the Marines or something for this, didn't they? Or some squadron model for this.
It's so different. I mean, I'm used to like these, these V-shaped guys coming out and talking to you, or the original guy, well, with the, how does Scott Manley call it? The efficient hairstyle. But now this guy is like, maybe he's Major Dad. Maybe he's Major Dad. That's it.
There's a show I already forgot about.
Yeah, well, he's done so many other things that people will remember him for, but I remember him for Major Dad. And put the answer below, and I'll give you one of my my Vanduul armor sets that you could put in your hangar. Thankfully, as an Imperator, I get 2 of those each month. 2, what do they call them? Hangar flyers. Mm-hmm. Ben, thank you. I promised you I'd get you out of here early. I'm hoping this is early enough.
That's totally fine. Nobody's come looking for me yet.
Well, you're in a window. You don't know.
That's true.
They could have been looking over from their desk going, when is he going to be off the... Yeah. All right, so...
I'll give you a panorama shot.
Yeah, he's...
an exclusive for you.
In a fishbowl. Oh, my God. What is that? Some kind of lizard? Is that a Vanduul?
Oh, that is the SETI eel from Star Trek 2. It's a prop replica that my brother gave me.
It's a prop rep, so you're not going to stick it in somebody's ear.
Well, I'm gonna pull the thing off and stick that in somebody's.
Okay. All right. That's pretty cool. And Sandy's office is right next to yours. Is there a window?
His office is the other side of this wall.
But if you knock there, you're not going to get all the way to Manchester, are you?
No. She's actually off this week for her birthday. So happy birthday, Sandy, wherever you are.
25 again. All right, folks. And I think that's it for today. Remember to leave your questions 2 ways, either in the comment section below, which has the thumbs up button I really need you to click on, or send them to starcitizenaa@gmail.com. If you have really long questions, please send them to starcitizenaa@gmail.com, okay? And with that...
and if this goes up tomorrow on the 27th, then it is also Chris Roberts' birthday, so happy birthday, Chris!
Wait, Ben, we can't go. What was I supposed to tell everybody? Who won? Ursus? I can't pronounce his last name. I will put it in the area below, but we do have a winner for the Starfarer, and it will appear here as we're talking. But Ursus, you have won the Starfarer, and Ben has promised that he will get it out as soon as he's gotten all the other ones out. I think 5 months was the longest someone had to wait, right?
Sorry.
It's okay. I'm just kidding. All right. And that is it. Thank you so much for entering that, folks, because it was really important to get that given away. And hopefully at some point in the future, I'll come up with another prize for y'all to win. And also, I have a winner for the Drake hoodie. I will put that in next week's show. Thank you all for watching and listening. And Ben, let's say... Sorry.
What am I saying?
Losing my voice.
Oh.
It's not good. You all be safe out there, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.
Hey.